Hello there, friends. My name is Fazfuck, and I'm returning after my very short break of playing Souls RNG and Fish, and I'm here to bring you guys the things that I don't like about what Forsaken is doing specifically with their milestones. Now, I was not able to get this video finished before the deadline, so this will only be about 2 times milestones, but do be assured, Chance and Janes are going to be coming at some point in the future. Now, without further ado, let's get on with the video. One final thing that I would like to say before this video starts is that these are divided up into sections on the script, so if you hear a weird pause or just a cut, that is because the script got to another section. So yeah, now let's actually start the video. So, let's take a look at the wings of Milestone 1 to start off. Now, I want to ask, why do they look like hacksaws? I personally don't like the way that these wings look, and I feel like they kind of ruined 2Time's whole thing with him being related to the spawn, and these not looking like spawn point wings anymore. Now, I'd say 2Time's base design did way better at the wings, considering the fact that they are still spawn points. Now let's move on to the next part of Milestone 1, the accessories. So, to start off the accessories section, I want to mention, I do not like the fact that they put the ritual symbol very poorly on a necklace string, as I feel the ritual symbol is too bulky to go on the string in this way. I feel like they should have done what they did with the old M4, where the spawn symbol was much smaller and didn't look as bad, and the string was actually tied to it, instead of one of the points just being on the string. The next section of the accessories is the bandages. I want to talk about the bandages 2Time has on his arms in the first milestone. The gloves and bandages have very poor quality and overall make the arms look very bulky. Now, I personally do not like this, as I don't like bulky, fully 3D clothing on any skin in the game. Even, like, you know, the new fucking Opera GX skins, if anyone even cares about this. I personally don't. I know people who do. You know, that's your thing if you like. You know, I'm not gonna hate on you. But I personally do not like skins looking very bulky with overly done accessories. The next part of the Milestone 1 is the clothing. To start us off with the clothing, I want to mention the poor quality textures they have. If you look at these screenshots, you can see the poor quality of the textures. I really don't like this, as it makes the skins look terrible in my opinion, with it being the fact that milestones are supposed to be a grind to get, and having poor quality does not match that. Now for the issues with the cloak, and oh boy, there are a lot. First of all, there's a very strange fascination with folds on the clothing, and I think it makes the design very complicated. Next are the horrendous clipping issues with the bottom of the cloak. As you can see, by just standing here, the clipping is very noticeable, and the way it warps everything makes very sharp folds, or will just stretch them as seen on the waist tie. A few more things I would like to mention are that when you run with the milestone, the legs very noticeably clip fully out of the cloak when looking from the front. It is both, but when looking from the back, it is only the left one specifically. Another issue is when running, if you are looking from the back, the cloak will clip through the torso and make these very obvious jagged folds and like creases, as you can see here. And for my final issue with Milestone 1 is that for some reason the face has a weird low quality texture on it that is never explained, not even in the description of the milestone when you unlock it. Now, I legitimately cannot tell what this is supposed to be or what it is supposed to represent, so if you do know, please tell me, as that would be a great thing to know, and it would make me a lot less confused about Milestone 1. Now let's move on to Milestone 2. Hey, before I get into this section, I want to say a lot of milestones from the Jane update all have very low quality textures, so just know that from now on I will only mention it if it is something new on the milestone that has low quality textures that was added for this milestone specifically. So please keep that in mind. Alrighty, starting this off with everybody's favorite subject, accessories. Yes, I know. So, to start off the reasons I don't like Milestone 2, I'm gonna start off with the accessories. In this milestone, they added on the shoulders to the cloak, and added a part to the torso that gives his cloak more bulk to it, and for some reason, added cords that hold it closed. For some reason, in the Jane update, all of the new milestones have some sort of cords that hold it closed, which I personally just don't like. You know, I think they've kind of overused it, and it's kind of just become pretty dull. But, yeah. Alrighty. Now, onto everybody's second favorite subject. Ranting about the cloak. The cloak is a huge issue for me in Milestone 2, for the reason that it still has the horrible clipping issues, but they made them worse as it added more onto the cloak. and added a second layer to the bottom of it that clips through the first cloak. So, yeah, the cloak got straps added onto the waist, which clip through the belt, which is, I guess, also there to hold the legs shut. Like, what the fuck? The legs clipping through the cloak when running was also not fixed either, which I think is a pretty big issue, as you can see here on screen. The clipping is really bad, and there's a couple of things that I noticed, as we're about to see when I start talking about Milestone 3. In the Milestone 3 render, you can literally see the cloak clipping through part of the fucking model. I don't know how they managed to do that. I don't know if they just didn't notice it. But, yeah. Also, sorry if you hear any background noise. It is a completely different day from when... My cat's currently getting into something. But anyway, it is a completely different day from when I recorded the Milestone 1 part, as I've still got 8 pages of script to go through, and, well, today's the deadline. So, anyway, sorry about any background noise. I've got like 4 fans running because it's like 80 degrees out. Anyway, let's just get on to the next thing. Forgot to mention this in the M1 section of the script, but every milestone for 2-time has a custom dagger, except for Milestone 2, as currently in-game it's bugged and has been since release. But, here's what it should have looked like if I can find a picture of it, since it was in the game for like 5 minutes and then got bugged again. So, yeah. And here's the Milestone 1 custom dagger. So, I think it's pretty neat that they gave everything a custom dagger, but the fact that Milestone 2, on release, was not able to stun the killer whatsoever, at all, pretty huge fuck up on their part. But, yeah, it's kind of just whatever. Anyway, now it's on to, you know, the final part of me ranting about Milestone 2 and how much it sucks. Yeah. In Second Life, 2-time becomes a fucking guiding light, which is a massive issue for a stealth survivor. Now, the reason it's like this is because they decided to use, like, the fan art designs as inspiration when making these skins. So, in Second Life, not only does, you know, 2-time have wings that glow coming out of his back, but, he's now got glowing wings that come out of his head also. And, you know I said I wouldn't mention this, but the spawn symbol on the chest is, really fucking low quality. When in Milestone 1, it wasn't. The only good thing that I can say about the milestones, you know, is that it brings back the picture of Azure and 2-time, you know, the best friends picture, that was unfortunately taken away from my glorious Legacy Milestone 4 and put onto this fucking chud, bro. Anyway, now, let's go over Milestone 3, shall we, friends? Yeah, I think it's time to go over that. So, the issues with clipping became even worse, as they gave him another layer onto his cloak. He now has ritual symbols on the bottom of the cloak, further cluttering the designs, and making it harder to tell what exactly is going on. To me, it seems like the devs have an issue with sticking to one theme throughout all the milestones, and just threw together whatever they felt like and called it a day. The knees still clip through the cloak, and when you run, it still has the really sharp warping issues. Sorry about that Discord ping. Which, when mixed, you know, with the clipping issues, makes the skin feel like they weren't really worth the grind. As, personally, it feels like they had no quality control whatsoever. The knees clip through the fucking, you know, cloak. The cloak through itself, the arms, basically everything. And it warps, my cat's getting into something again, and it warps the absolute hell out of, you know, basically everything on the milestone. So, yeah. So, here's the Milestone 3 dagger. I think it looks really good. I do like the fact that the blade and the handle are basically 2 pieces of what the fuck? Of, combined metal. I think that's a really good design. My one issue is the handguard. That shit looks like it would be painful. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to the Second Life now. As oh boy, does it get worse. So, here's the Second Life. It's even bright in Milestone 2, with the glowing spawn crown things. You know, that thing on top of its head. I don't even know what to fucking call that. That's new. The wings have animations now, making it even easier to spot you, which, again, isn't good for a stealth survivor. As, you know, you are a... Did I just run out of fucking background footage? Holy shit, okay. You are a pretty much moving animated thing when you're not supposed to be when you're a stealth survivor. This is gonna be a long-ass video. Yeah. Now they're just kind of the spawn symbol, but like cut in half and mirrored. So, you know, that's whatever. The spawn symbol is still low quality, as well as the textures on the crown thing. In fact, it looks like the textures got worse on the cloak than in Milestone 2. Another thing about the second life of Milestone 3 is that the ritual symbols on the cloak will start to glow, making it even easier to find you, which at this point I shouldn't have to mention why that's a bad thing. Yeah, let's just move on to like the fucking 4th milestone. Yeah, oh my fucking god. Alrighty, enjoy some Bite by Night gameplay. But anyway, in my opinion, you know, the 4th milestone for 2-Time is the bulkiest and most cluttered design 2-Time has in its milestone lineup. And with it being the final one you get, it makes it really disappointing. It's honestly really difficult to tell what is going on in the design, as you can see from this screenshot. Anyway, let's just get on to the accessories. Yeah. Now, I didn't mention this with Milestone 3, because Milestone 3 didn't add much in terms of, like, accessories. It mainly just added, like, more shit onto the cloak. But Milestone 4 adds way more now. One of the things it adds being Azure's hat, which I guess has a veil now, even though we didn't see one in any depiction we have seen for Azure, not even in his most recent one. Now, the hat has half of the spawn ritual, like the ritual symbol, on the front, which makes it look very lopsided and doesn't look that good. Overall, this mixed with the low quality textures the hat has makes it very disappointing that this is what we got for Azure's hat. It makes it look like the devs put no effort into the textures and just went full send with whatever they had finished already. Now, I get that I'm sounding very harsh with this, but every single milestone that they added since the Jane update has had low quality textures left and right. To the point that on the corners of the card for Chance's milestones, you can see the design, like you can visibly see the texture loop itself around the card. Anyway, let's just move on to the cloak. You know, I'll get into the Chance stuff in a different video. From looking at the sleeves of the cloak, it looks like they added another cloak on top of the 3 he had already, which makes the design look very bulky and overdone. Like, I mean, look at this fucking thing from the back. Can you tell what you're looking at? I sure can't. I can't even make out a body design. The clipping issue still remains, and are even worse than any of the previous milestones, because you can see them visibly clipping when running and walking. Now, this is why adding textures like this is such a bad idea in Roblox game. Not textures. Adding, I don't even know what to fucking call this. Adding, this thing to the cloak, where it, like, warps and clips to itself. Adding that to something in a Roblox game is a very bad idea, because of this exact issue, and it makes me very disappointed that this is what they've added. Now, let's move on to the second life. Now, in the second life, the hands grabbing his shoulders have grown. Now, I know that I actually didn't mention this in the second life portion of the Milestone 3 section. He gets these things on his sleeves, which look like hands grabbing him. That's what I interpret them as, because what are you supposed to get from this? But anyway, they're longer and are now pink and have animations along with the wings moving more and glowing pink. The same with the ritual symbol on the bottom of the cloak, except those don't have animations in Second Life. In Second Life, his face gets this weird light on it that I still can't tell what it's supposed to be. The last thing I'm going to talk about before we move on to Nightshade, you know, most goated skin, my favorite flower, is the fact that the ritual symbol on the hat does not glow with everything else when in Second Life, which is really weird considering everything else spawn-related would glow in Second Life. I personally think that's really stupid. Also, I think I forgot about it in Milestone 3. So here's Milestone 3 and 4's custom dagger. If I didn't forget it in Milestone 3, then just here's Milestone 4. Anyway, let's go to Nightshade now. Best skin for 2-time by far. Now, for Nightshade, there's not much I have to say about the skin, as I do really like it. After the redesign, the only thing I can say is that his face doesn't match anymore with the new head they gave it, as the face was meant to be remade, as you can see in the concept art, but I guess it got scrapped or just left out or hasn't been added yet. The wings in Second Life do have an animation, which I think is really cool. Here's the dagger, and, yeah. In Second Life, when the skin first released, the flower on the chest, the hair, and flowers coming out of the back all used to have animations, but I guess now it's just the branches coming out of the back. So here's a look at those. I didn't realize I mentioned this part in the script, my bad. But yeah, I personally am very disappointed that they took out the animated hair and, flower on the chest and gave all that shit to fucking Jane in her Milestone 4. But, we'll get into that in the next video. Until then, please, take your bows, and I hope that you enjoyed the show. I'll see you all next time.